Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So there has been a change of plans for today. I know I'm posting a lot later than I wanted to. I was having a lot of trouble last night trying to record this, and I had recorded it and then all of a sudden I couldn't post it and my phone deleted it. So now I'm doing it after 10 o'clock, almost 10:30 in the morning, and I don't like it. Anyway, so my fiance has not been feeling well, so he's not going to be doing the video with me today. So instead, we're going to talk about having a child while dealing with CPS. Last week we talked about self-care and the importance of all of that. I'll go ahead and link that down below. Give that a thumbs up. If you like the videos that I've been putting out, hit that subscribe button and hit that little bell too so you don't miss any future videos as well. So like I said, we're going to talk about having a child while you're going through your CPS investigation. So, with a lot of my videos I talk about a lot of the experiences that I've had. So just keep that in mind when you watch the video, because I may be in a different county and a completely different state than you. So just bear that in mind while I'm talking about all of this. So I am going to be telling my story a little bit more today. So when we found out that I was pregnant, we had already been going through our CPS investigation for almost a year. And so, although we were really happy to be having a child together, there was also a lot of mixed feelings. There was a lot of uncertainty about what was going to be going on in our CPS investigation. So, it was very exciting, but also very kind of nerve-wracking at the same time. So we really held off on telling people. We told my future in-laws probably about a month or so later. I believe we told them around Thanksgiving. And we did a gender reveal about a month or two later for my mother-in-law's birthday. They were very excited, very supportive. They love having grandchildren and whatnot. So, they were very excited and very supportive through the whole thing, from the beginning of CPS investigation to when we told them I was pregnant and beyond. They've been a very huge support system for us. But I didn't end up telling my parents that I was pregnant until probably about 5 or 6 months. Because at that point, my daughter was living with them. And so when I had finally told my parents, I had my daughter kind of shout out in their house that she was going to be a big sister. I had told her months prior. I would say probably, at least a month prior. And for a 4-year-old, she didn't say anything, which I was really very surprised about. But, whenever I would bring it up or talk about it, she was very excited to be a big sister. And so when she kind of said, "Oh, I'm going to be a big sister," my mom and my dad kind of got this look on their face like, "Oh, okay." And then at one point my mom kind of said, "Oh, great, we're going to have to take care of an infant too." And that was kind of discouraging to come from my parents. And, really have that, the people that you as a person care about the most. My parents hadn't been super supportive through the whole thing. And, well, my dad wasn't super supportive. My mom really wasn't supportive at all. So, it was really very discouraging, when my mom said that. My parents love our kids and everything, but with everything going on, of course, they were uncertain about what was going to be happening as well. So, as we were telling people, the people that knew were kind of wary, but they were excited for us. And then the people that didn't know about our CPS investigation were extremely excited for us. So that was really good. Just to have those people that knew about our CPS investigation, still be excited for us, because it is an exciting time to go through a pregnancy. And, especially with my fiance, this is his first biological child. And so, they were still very excited for us, which was awesome. But as the pregnancy progressed, Emma was getting more and more excited. She grew increasingly excited, asking all the time, is my baby brother here? Is my baby brother here? Is the baby here? Is the baby here? That kind of thing. And so she was really very excited, which was the best feeling ever. She was always asking questions. I did, when I told her in a therapeutic setting. We had a combined therapist, and I talked to that therapist prior to telling my daughter about her being a big sister. And so, I told her in a therapeutic setting, just to make sure that, if she wasn't excited, or if there was any kind of emotions other than kind of excited or happy, then we can kind of deal with that together, as the therapist and as the parent. So when I told her, it was great. She did a wonderful job, and she was just so excited. So, that was awesome. But as I grew throughout the pregnancy, obviously my belly is getting bigger, and it's growing increasingly more difficult to do physical activity. Even just walking around sometimes was really very uncomfortable. And so I wasn't able to do as much physical activity on a playground with my daughter. And CPS ended up starting to put those things into reports. And, I questioned it, like, why do they think that this is okay? This is not a choice. And I talked to the social worker about it and told her. She didn't even really give me a straight answer. And so I went and I talked to my lawyer, and she wasn't even able to give me a straight answer. So it was very difficult. My lawyer wasn't very good to begin with. She didn't fight for me or anything like that. Yes, I'm drinking coffee at 10:45 in the morning. But my son was up a lot last night. Anyway, so, as they were putting these things into the reports, I was like, okay, well, I'll talk about it in court. I'll talk about it in court. Thinking continuously throughout the last, year, at that point, a year and a half or so, that I'm going to have a point in time where I'm going to be able to tell the judge that this, or that, and that are not true, or this is what was talked about, and this is what was said, and things were taken out of context, but it was never that way. So, when I would try and talk to my lawyer about it, she was always putting it off like it was unimportant. So it was very discouraging to have such a bad lawyer for the bulk of my CPS investigation. So, if you feel that your lawyer is doing the same thing and just putting things off, or being very nonchalant about things, request a new lawyer. I mean, obviously talk to them about it first, because they may have procedures that they need to follow. But if you feel like you don't have the answers that you feel you need as a parent who's fighting to get their child back, definitely go to the court and request a new lawyer. I definitely recommend that, because I wish I had done it sooner. So, things are being put in reports, and the day comes where I give birth to my son. And it was a great day. It was a happy day. It was emotional. It was just one of the best days, birth of my daughter, birth of my son, two of the best days of my life, right? And so, he ended up having to go into the NICU for a few days. And so that was kind of discouraging and very scary. So there was a social worker that worked at the hospital that came in to talk to us. But she was only there to make sure that me and my fiance were okay mentally and emotionally. If we had talked about, this made us feel this way or we feel this way, she was going to give us referrals to people to go talk to about it, or they would come and talk to us about it. But she was really just there to make sure that we were okay with our son being in the NICU for a few days. And then, she was really nice and no issues whatsoever. She ended up being from a different county. But then a few days later, somebody from our county's office, the CW office here in our county, ended up coming to my room, our room, and talking to us, at first talking to me about my daughter's investigation, and how that was going at the time. And then at one point, as she was talking to my fiance and I, she had asked him to go get his car seat out of our car. And she was talking to me and asking me questions and everything. He brings in our son's car seat, and she looks at it, and she asks what we have at home that is prepared for him, and we list off this whole list of things, diapers, wipes, clothes, bed, blankets, all kinds of things that we had just gotten for our son, and we're here in our home. And, she seemed to be okay with the list that we gave her, but she kind of was like, oh, okay, like it wasn't enough. And then, she wanted to see my son in the NICU, and it was like, all right, well, she just wants to check on him and talk to the nurses, whatever. She ended up taking a picture of my son and making a file when she got back to her office. Because, okay, like, I was discharged on a Thursday, and then my son was discharged the next morning. So we came home on a Friday morning. And so we had Friday, that whole Friday, and the weekend with him. And then Monday, she shows up at our house. And, my fiance answers the door, and he grows increasingly upset with her because she's just asking questions and, trying to come in and look inside the house and all of this stuff. And so, I just stand up and I'm holding our son, and I tell her, I was like, nothing is going to happen until we have a lawyer present. And she's like, okay, well, that's your right. But for almost 10 minutes after I had said it the first time, she continued to talk, and I continued to tell her, nothing is going to be happening unless we have a lawyer present. Probably 4, 5, 6 times that I had told her that. And so, as I was telling her that, she's like, okay, well, that's your right. And she's still continuing to try and either come into the house or look inside my house. And so, after almost 10 minutes, she finally decided that it was time for her to leave. And so she left. And she continued to call us. Well, she continued to call me, leaving me voicemails and everything, but she made no effort to contact my fiance. She had his number. She knew his name, but made no effort to contact him, even though he's the father of our son. And so, it was very frustrating. And so then she ended up coming, I think it was maybe like a week later, she ended up coming back to our home. And again, trying to push her way inside, verbally push her way inside, trying to trip us up to get us to invite her inside. And then when that wasn't happening, she was trying to look inside, almost to try and find something to be able to get a warrant from a judge to say that they can come and take our son away from us. And so, I wasn't letting that happen. Again, I just kept telling her, nothing is going to be happening unless we have a lawyer present, because she was telling us, we have to do what's called a family team meeting. And I was like, okay, well, I already know what that is. We're not doing that unless we have a lawyer present. And, again, I just kept telling her that. And again, she was just telling me, okay, well, that's your right. That's your right. So, if something similar is happening to you, don't let them in your home. Do not do anything unless you have a lawyer present. Do not take your child to that office either, because it's what they want. They want to trip you up so you say or do something to where they can take your other child away from you. And it's not okay, especially if you, as a parent, weren't even abusing your child in the first place, especially if you weren't doing drugs, drinking alcohol, they weren't in any danger, anything like that. So, don't do anything unless you have your lawyer present. So, if you get anything from my story, don't let social workers into your room unless they're just saying, we're here to check on you if your child goes into the neonatal intensive care unit, which is the NICU, because they do have social workers to check on the parents. But if a social worker comes and starts talking to you about your case and about your child, your new child, just say no. I'm not talking to you without a lawyer present. I'm not doing anything without a lawyer present. Just make sure that you have, at least somebody there with you to be a witness to the conversation that you and the social worker have. I do suggest it being your lawyer, but if it's your boyfriend, your parents, a friend, somebody, just have somebody there with you if you decide that you're okay with talking to the social worker. So, if that's the one thing that you get from my story, then that makes me happy. Just make sure that this child stays home with you, because if you're not doing anything to put that child in harm's way, you are taking care of that child properly, you have stuff that is proper for that child, don't let anything happen without a lawyer present, at least a friend. So, I know I talked about my story a lot, but if you're experiencing the same thing and you don't know what to do, comment down below. It is a scary thing. So, just know that you are not alone when this stuff happens to you. So that's all I have for having a child while you're dealing with CPS. I don't know when my fiance is going to be feeling better. So comment down below what you think I should do next week or talk about next week. I kind of want to break up the negativity about talking about CPS. So I was thinking maybe a DIY video or something like that. I've been wanting to try some wood burning with the special tips. I have these little wooden coaster pieces, and I kind of want to do something cool with them. I was thinking about making ornaments for family members, just different things that I could do and pass out for little Christmas knickknacks. So again, comment down below what you think I should do, if that's something that you would like to see, because like I said, I do want to break up that negativity about talking about CPS. So comment down below, and I will post a video next week and see what kind of stuff we can get done next week. All right, talk to you guys later.